Hello, I'm Paul, and we are down to the last in our stack of questions. Although there's a stack about that tall, I can see that are waiting for me. But I wanted to get through this first stack that I was given, and I do appreciate all your questions. If you have one that you'd like to ask me to rant and rave on about, then just go to psaudio.com and go to, on the top, you'll see community, click on that, go to Ask Paul, and then you can ask me your question, and I will do my best to answer it for you. Alex from Seattle writes, what are you really chasing as an audiophile? Nice. They had to have that for the last one. Well, fair enough. That's a good question. It truly is. What am I chasing as an audiophile? I can only speak for myself. I have experience with numerous audiophiles in the last 40-something years of doing this, and I can guess what others are doing, but I can tell you what I chase as an audiophile, and that is the feeling of being there when something's being played. When I go to Music Room 1 and I close the door and I lower the lights and I put on a new track, I, to this day, am still amazed at how it sounds, of the privilege, and it feels like a privilege, of having a stereo system that is labored over to the point that it almost brings tears to my eyes, listening to somebody singing in front of me, or a Mahler presentation, and I love Mahler. Or we have a Itzhak Perlman. It's a pirate tape that a friend of ours got from 20-something years ago when he was in Switzerland, and they had a Studer tape recorder with 15-inch per second, something that looks kind of like this one here. This is not a Studer, but this is sort of a Otari Studer ripoff, if you will. Good deck. But they had a Studer tape deck, big 10-inch reels of tape, and a stereo microphone overhead, and it's just Perlman and his pianist playing on stage with the crowd in front, and it's a privilege. It's just, you just don't get that anywhere else. I can go to a live concert, and honestly, in many cases, the live concert doesn't even sound as good. It just depends on what you're doing. So as an audiophile, I get a real charge out of being there. I also get a real charge out of being able to pick and choose from some of the greatest music in the world. I mean, think about that. Think about how cool it is to be able to pick your favorite music, whether it's some big Pink Floyd thing, or a Mahler concert, or this Itzhak Perlman piece, and being able to play it in your home and believe for a moment that you're there, to be immersed in music without anything jumping out at you, and it's almost like a drug. It's amazing. And I don't know any other way to describe the pleasure that brings me and the others that I talk with and I know. It's truly something that is remarkable. And anything that we can do, whether it's these videos to help you make it better, to get you closer to that ideal, to designing products, whatever it is, I want to be part of that, because that really floats my boat as an audiophile, and that's why I proudly wear the audiophile hat. I want people to know that this exists. I go to airports. In fact, I'm heading off to Japan here in a day, and when I'm at the airport or on the plane, inevitably, oh, what do you do for a living? I used to say, well, I'm an audiophile and I make high-end stereo equipment. And they would say, oh, like Bose or Sonos or whatever they would say. No, and I would correct them, but I stopped doing that because it doesn't help. It kind of alienates them. Oh, you're something weird. So at this point, I just say, I own a company that manufactures stereo equipment, and we employ 45 people, and we sell all over the world, and I'm pretty proud of that company. And usually the conversation is over at that point. Yep, yeah, that's cool. Sometimes it's a little different. And then I can maybe give them a pitch about, come on by, give a listen. You don't know anything about this, and you're missing out on something remarkable. It's why I wrote a book that'll be out at some point here called Confessions of an Audiophile. And when we get that published, I'll give you more information about it. Anyway, thank you for the question. We'll start with a new stack tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.